Can I tell you something today that might shake your soul and lift your spirit? You are closer than you think. Yes, right now, in this very moment, God is moving in ways you cannot even see, in ways you cannot yet understand. The breakthrough you've been praying for, the doors you've been knocking on, the favor you've been hoping for, it is already on its way. I know some of you have been waiting. You've been wondering if your struggle has a purpose. You've been asking, why is it taking so long? But let me remind you, delay is not denial. Silence is not abandonment. God is orchestrating every detail, lining up every connection, preparing you for a destiny too big to be rushed. Every step you think is taking you nowhere is actually taking you somewhere. Every no is a setup for a greater yes. Every tear you've shed has been watering the seeds of your breakthrough. You are on the edge of a miracle, and you don't even know it. So listen closely. Stop doubting. Stop questioning. Start believing. Because God is moving. He is shifting mountains, opening doors, and aligning your path with divine precision. Today, right now, you are closer than you think. And the moment your breakthrough arrives, it will be so overwhelming, so powerful, that you'll know without a doubt it was God all along. Have you ever felt like life is moving too slowly for you? Like you've been running, striving, praying, and yet nothing seems to change. Maybe you've been waiting for a promotion that never came, a relationship that never materialized, a financial breakthrough that never appeared. And in those moments, you start to question, why is God silent? Why is it taking so long? Why does it seem like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck? Let me tell you something today that will lift the weight off your shoulders and ignite hope in your spirit. God's timing is perfect. Divine timing is not just a phrase, it is a principle. It is a law of the universe that moves far beyond human understanding. What you are experiencing is not random. What you are enduring is not meaningless. Every delay, every not yet, every season of silence is part of God's master plan. Think about it. Every great figure in history, every person who achieved greatness, every man and woman who changed the world, none of them reached their purpose overnight. Abraham waited decades for a promise. Joseph spent years in prison before he became second in command in Egypt. Moses wandered in the wilderness before leading a nation to freedom. And David, he was anointed as king. But he didn't sit on the throne until years of preparation, trials, and testing. The common thread, divine timing. God's timing is never early. God's timing is never late. It is always precise. And it is always perfect. I want you to hear me clearly. Your delay does not mean denial. Just because your breakthrough hasn't arrived yet does not mean God has forgotten you. In fact, often what we perceive as delay is actually divine preparation. God is shaping you, molding you, stretching you, refining you so that when the moment comes, you are ready. And I don't mean ready in some small human sense. I mean ready in the way only God can prepare you. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and strategically. Have you ever tried to bake bread? You can't just throw flour, water, and yeast into a pan and expect it to be ready instantly. It has to rise. It has to rest. It has to develop flavor. If you take it out too soon, it's raw. If you leave it too long, it spoils. Life works the same way. You are in the proving ground. You are in the rising chamber. Every trial, every waiting period, every season of struggle is preparing you for the moment when God will say, now, it is time. And when that time comes, you will be ready, fully ready for the purpose, for the blessing, for the breakthrough that has been waiting for you all along. I know it's hard to wait. I know it feels like nothing is happening. I know the silence is deafening. But I want you to understand something critical. God is never silent when He is moving. Sometimes the loudest work of God is done in the quietest moments. Sometimes the most powerful breakthroughs are prepared in the shadows, in the places where no one is looking, in the valley, where pain and struggle feel unbearable. And here's the key. Faith is not believing when everything looks good. Faith is believing when nothing looks good. Faith is trusting the invisible. Faith is holding on when the world says let go. Faith is knowing that God's timing is perfect. Even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, even when your circumstances scream the opposite. Listen to me. If God has promised it, it is coming. But it will come in His timing, not yours. And His timing is always better than your timing. Why? Because He sees the end from the beginning. He knows the obstacles before they appear. He knows the connections, the doors, the people, the moments that must line up perfectly before your blessing can manifest. You think you are ready now? Maybe. But maybe there are lessons you still need to learn, strength you still need to gain, patience you still need to develop. That's why the wait is so necessary. Let me tell you something else about divine timing. It will always surpass your expectations. You think you want the blessing now, but if you received it now, would you be able to handle it? God knows your heart. He knows your capacity. He knows your character. And He is preparing you to handle not just the blessing, but the responsibility, the opportunity, and the calling that comes with it. Sometimes we pray for a door to open, but we are not yet equipped to walk through it. That's why God waits. That's why He takes His time. And while you wait, you are not stuck. While you wait, God is working. While you wait, doors are lining up. While you wait, people are being placed strategically in your path. While you wait, circumstances are shifting quietly behind the scenes. You are closer than you think. You may feel like you are in the wilderness, but every step is calculated. Every struggle is shaping you. Every tear is watering the soil for your breakthrough. You cannot rush divine timing. You cannot force a season to change. You cannot manipulate God's hand. And the moment you stop fighting against the timing of God and start trusting in the timing of God, you will feel a peace that surpasses understanding. That peace will guard your heart. That peace will sustain your spirit. That peace will prepare you for the moment when God says, now it is time. So today, I want you to release the pressure. I want you to release the doubt. I want you to release the fear. Stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to force things to happen. Stop comparing your timeline to someone else's. Your story is unique. Your journey is sacred. Your breakthrough is inevitable, but it will come at the right time. Remember this. Abraham waited 25 years for the promise of a son. Joseph waited 13 years from the time of his dream to the time of his promotion. Moses waited 40 years in the wilderness before leading a nation. And David waited years, hiding, fighting, and praying before taking the throne. If God's timing worked for them, it will work for you. If His timing brought them from waiting to winning, from struggle to supremacy, from trial to triumph, it will bring you to the same place. Divine timing is not a punishment. Divine timing is not a test you are meant to fail. Divine timing is God's method of bringing you into a fullness you cannot yet comprehend. Trust it, embrace it, lean into it. And when the moment arrives, when the doors open, when the blessing comes, when the breakthrough hits, you will not just walk through it, you will soar through it. You will step into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. So I say to you now, lift up your head, lift up your eyes. Stop looking at the delay. Stop listening to the naysayers. Stop believing the lies that say you are too late or that it will never come. God's timing is perfect. You are not too late. You are not too early. You are exactly where you need to be. And the moment your time arrives, everything will fall into place in a way that only God could have done it. Wait on the Lord. Trust in His timing. Believe in His plan. Your breakthrough is coming. Your miracle is coming. Your season of favor is coming. And when it does, you will look back on this waiting period and say, now I understand. Now I see. Now I know it was worth every second. God's timing is divine. God's timing is perfect. And your time is coming. Faith in the invisible. That's what separates those who merely dream from those who actually see their dreams come alive. Faith in the invisible is not about what you can see with your eyes. It's not about what you can touch with your hands. It's about believing in what God has promised long before it manifests in your life. It's about trusting in a reality that has not yet arrived. And let me tell you something. That kind of faith is the only kind that moves mountains. You see, most people give up because they are looking at what is visible. They are looking at their bank account, their job, their relationships, their health, and they say, I can't see it happening. So maybe it's not meant for me. But the problem is that what is visible is temporary, limited, and incomplete. The invisible, the unseen, the spiritual promise of God that is eternal, limitless, and unstoppable. Faith in the invisible is what allows you to walk through life with hope when circumstances scream despair. Let me be honest with you. It is not easy to have faith in the invisible. It is not easy to hold on when the door has not yet opened. It is not easy to keep believing when the situation looks hopeless, when people tell you to give up, when your own heart questions if it's worth the struggle. That is why faith in the invisible is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who only want what they can immediately see. It is for warriors. It is for those who are willing to believe beyond what their eyes tell them. It is for those who trust that God's hand is moving even when it is hidden. Think about Abraham. God promised him a son. Abraham was old. Sarah was past the age of childbirth. There was no visible sign that this promise would ever come to pass. And yet, Abraham believed. He didn't see the child in his arms. He didn't feel the miracle with his hands. He only heard the promise. And faith in the invisible brought him to the fulfillment of that promise. That is the kind of faith that changes your life. Faith in the invisible also requires patience. You cannot rush what God is doing. You cannot force a season to change. You cannot manufacture a miracle with your own hands. If God is working, it may be slow, it may be quiet, it may be invisible for a time, but that does not mean He is not moving. In fact, some of the most powerful movements of God happen when we are not looking, when the world cannot see it, when the situation seems impossible. It is in those moments when faith must stretch beyond sight, that character is built and destined. Identity is shaped. I want you to understand something critical. What you believe in the invisible today will define your tomorrow. Your faith in what you cannot yet see will shape the reality you will eventually live. Every time you speak God's word over your life, even when it hasn't manifested, every time you declare victory while surrounded by struggle, every time you pray for breakthrough that hasn't yet arrived, you are exercising faith in the invisible. And faith is powerful. Faith is active. Faith is what calls things that are not as though they were. Have you ever seen a seed planted in the ground? It is invisible at first. You cannot see the roots forming. You cannot see the shoots emerging. You cannot see the life growing beneath the surface. And yet, if you water it, if you nurture it, if you trust the process, eventually it will break through the soil. That seed will grow into a tree, a fruit, a harvest. Faith works the same way. You may not see the results immediately. You may not feel the progress. You may wonder if anything is happening, but if you continue to trust, to believe, to act in faith, the invisible will become visible. Faith in the invisible also demands courage. It demands that you step out when the path is unclear, that you take action even when the results are not guaranteed. That you continue walking toward a promise even when the world cannot see it. Peter walked on water, but only because he believed in the invisible power of Jesus' word. He kept his eyes on the promise, not on the storm. And when his faith was fixed, he experienced the miraculous. That same kind of courage, that same kind of faith is available to you today. Now let's be real, doubts will come. Fear will knock at your door. Discouragement will whisper lies in your ear. You will be tempted to quit. You will be tempted to settle for what is visible and comfortable instead of believing in what is invisible and eternal. But I am telling you, faith is stronger than fear. Faith is greater than doubt. Faith sees the promise and trusts that God is faithful to fulfill it. Faith keeps your eyes on the invisible, even when everything visible tells a different story. I want you to hear this clearly. God rewards faith, not faith in what is easy, not faith in what you can see, not faith in what is convenient, but faith in what is invisible. Faith that holds on when it hurts. Faith that believes when it's hard. Faith that refuses to give up, refuses to give in, refuses to compromise, because you know that God's promise is real. And when you exercise that kind of faith, the invisible becomes tangible, the unseen becomes visible, the impossible becomes reality. Faith in the invisible also teaches you to rely on God, not circumstances. When you put your trust in what is visible, your paycheck, your friends, your achievements, you will always be limited. But when you put your faith in God, when you trust the invisible power of His promises, you tap into unlimited potential, supernatural favor, and divine provision. You begin to see doors open that no one could have opened. Opportunities appear that no one could have created. And miracles unfold that defy explanation. Faith in the invisible requires consistency. It is not a one-time act. It is a daily commitment. Every morning you wake up, every decision you make, every prayer you pray, you are choosing to act on faith or fear. You are choosing to believe the invisible or settle for the visible. You are choosing to trust God's promises or rely on your own understanding. And make no mistake, the consistent choice to believe in the invisible will determine your destiny. I want to remind you, God is moving even when you cannot see it. God is working even when it looks quiet. God is arranging, aligning, and orchestrating every detail of your life according to His perfect plan. But to experience it, you must believe in the invisible